Hey everyone! So for today's video, I want to say something and pay attention. This video is very important. It's important because I am absolutely tired of the misjudgment, the stigma, and how many people have the wrong ideas about ADHD. ADHD is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. First of all, people that have ADHD, it's real, okay? It is not, I repeat, it is not a made up diagnosis that was created to sell drugs. I have it, and I was diagnosed at the age of 7. I am 25 today, and guess what? I did not grow out of it. It's still here. So yeah, it is real. So I am, yes, absolutely tired about the little information that we have also on adult ADHD. Hello, adult ADHD and childhood. It's probably very different, right? So every time that we research ADHD, all I see is things about kids. Oh, okay. I guess I am not important enough to have, evidence-based practice, right? Because they're so focused on the kids. Other people are so focused on saying it is made up, it is just an excuse to diagnose kids and medicate them because they're bad behaved, because their parents are bad, blah, 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 because they use sugar, because whatever it is. All right, starting off with my story, okay, and this is mine. So every person is extremely different in every level. I have a background. I grew up with a different educational system. I grew up with different traditions. I am me, and we're different. We have different genetics. We have different environments and whatnot. So it will be different on each case. So my case is I was diagnosed when I was 7. And today I'm 25. So that was a long time ago. And I honestly do not blame my mom. And my mom blames herself quite a bit about this. But I tell her I've been through a lot of trauma in my academic life because it was rough. It was rough, and the lack of information that there was, it's not only because it was way back then, it was in a different country. It's a second world country, and so the information was even more scarce. And so pretty much, I will never forget this, okay? I was diagnosed by a psychiatrist. I have to say, today I look up to her. I think she's amazing. She's so knowledgeable, especially with the limitations that there was back then. However, the limitation in research was pretty bad. And I do not blame anyone for judging me back then in this way, because I know that my mom, my dad, my whole family, and my psychiatrist, they wanted to see me happy. They wanted what's best for me. But my mom is a beautiful woman, extremely successful. She was always the nerdiest person in her class. In fact, she's a surgeon today, and she graduated as the top one of her class. So then she has me. My brother is older than me, about 4 years, and I love him. He's a lawyer right now, and he went to law school pretty much right after high school. He already obviously he had to go through some studying before and whatnot, but he got accepted into law school like super fast. He's a genius. He was like straight A student from like since like he was a baby pretty much until now. He's very smart and I love him so much. My dad is also a surgeon. So then there was me. Anyway, they didn't have patience with me because they didn't understand why I couldn't stand still. Why I couldn't understand what they were teaching me. Why I was different. What my mom wasn't like that. My brother wasn't like that. By the way, my whole family is in the medical field. I have like both my grandparents from my dad's side and my mom's dad, and also 2 other uncles. I have a lot of people who are healthcare professionals and healthcare providers in my family. So obviously I had like to kind of follow up to the standards of my family. And I couldn't because I'm different and they didn't know why. They didn't know what to do with me. I mean, it was early 2000s, and I was diagnosed, and I will never forget, regardless of how young I was, I will never forget how the psychiatrist and pretty much everyone explained what ADHD is. So this was her explanation. And again, I don't blame her, because when you don't have resources, like, how are you gonna know better? You know what I mean? But today we do. So, okay. She said that basically we all have neurons on our brains, okay? And what they do is, well, she didn't say that. I know that because I studied this. So just like a brief explanation. Neurons connect to each other and they communicate with each other to pass on neurotransmitters, right? So she said that we all have neurons and they're kind of like holding hands together, all right? And they're connecting. My neurons, because I have ADHD, they have their arms crossed and they're lazy. So what I grew up listening, Thais, you're so smart, but you're so lazy. I mean, I know you can succeed and you know to, but you just have to work harder. Oh, thank you. I've never thought about doing that before. So, yeah, I kind of grew up thinking that I was the lost case of my family and I will never be a surgeon. I won't be a surgeon because it's not something I want to do anyway. I grew up with low self-esteem. I'm a psychology student right now, and my goal in my career is to specialize my practice in lifespan and development in forensic psychology. So I'm very interested about what happens to you when you were a child forms your behavior from when you're an adult. Today, I still struggle. I still do. And I actually blame my trauma in my academic life from when I was a kid to be one of the factors that impacted my development of OCPD. And for those who haven't seen it, my video, the first time I posted on YouTube, it was a video about obsessive compulsive personality disorder, which is also something I've been diagnosed with, but that was like, I haven't been diagnosed for it, not even for 2 years yet. It's been almost a year. So this is a new diagnosis and it's something I developed after I became an adult. But I do think my past has great influence on the fact that today I am such an excessive and obsessive with perfectionism. Thank God I'm finally in college. I cannot tell you how much easier college is for me than any of the other grades were. Like, I can't even explain to you, because of the fact that I'm learning something that I have so much passion for, and I can learn however I want. I'm an adult, so I have power over what I do and how I learn, how much time I spend on it. I don't have people telling me what to do, and that I should do this way or that way, because they're not me. They don't know if that way or this way is going to be best for me. I'm the one who knows how is will be better, because I'm already 25. So like, I've had enough years to kind of discover and what works for me in my academic life. But when I was a kid, I did not have that power. And I always went to Catholic school, and that was absolutely horrible. I love the Montessori educational system, and I think if I had gone to that, oh my God, I would have thrived so much more, and I would have had so much more confidence in who I am today, and I would have been way more stimulated in a very effective manner. And I mean, I think, I'm achieving my goals now. I am succeeding in everything that I study, and I can finally study because I know how. But it took me so long. It literally did. Like, I learned how to really study, I think, not until I was a freshman in college. All right. So something that really pissed me off. As I'm a psychology student, I mentioned, I was recently studying about some childhood disorders, and ADHD was there. Interesting, right? Because I'm not in childhood anymore. But anyway, it is a childhood disorder because of the fact that it shows symptoms. The symptoms are supposed to show since you're a young child. But anyway, I'm not gonna get into how we diagnose an adult. All right. So this is something I read, and I was absolutely not happy about it. It says low self-esteem, feelings of low worth is sometimes blamed as causing externalizing problems. However, research shows, perhaps surprisingly, that children with ADHD overestimate rather than undervalue their competence. The best explanation for this positive illusory bias appears to be self-protection, trying to appear more competent to peers and oneself. What? Are you kidding me? All right. Let's reflect on this a little bit. It kind of makes my heart rate go up a little bit, because I struggled with that a lot when I was a kid. And I have struggled so much with self-esteem since I was young. Okay, so with the fact that I kind of explained a little bit of my family and everything else, do you think that this is true? And I'm just saying, maybe, obviously, everyone's different. Maybe some kids do overestimate their capabilities, but I guarantee you majority of children with ADHD do not do that, because there's already enough problem with self-esteem. And then to see that they're actually saying, oh no, they actually don't. They actually think they're better than others. OMG. I cannot. I just can't. Like, what are we trying to do? Are we trying to improve mental health and the way people see people with disorders? Or are we trying to create more stigma? Okay, so to start off with, I love studying childhood and disorders that occur with kids. The reason why I love it is because I find it fascinating. And I like challenging things. My life is challenging. Maybe that's why I'm attracted to things that are a lot more challenging. How do we really tell what a child is feeling by just looking at them? So something I learned in school, feelings are subjective. They're not objective. You can't tell someone that what they feel is wrong or right and what they're feeling. If I tell you this is how I feel, guess what? This is how I feel. And only people that have that disorder can really tell you what they're really feeling. You can study as much as you want, but kids don't know how to express their emotions. They don't know how to fight, their demons. And that is, a big part of ADHD is we're impulsive. But when we're kids, we're even more impulsive because that's normal for every child. So if you add a little bit more of that, I have, as you can see, I'm very expressive. Well, I'm Latina. Obviously, I'm expressive. But anyway, I just think people with ADHD can relate to this a lot. We're more emotional in terms of like, we can't hide as much. But honestly, why should I have to hide my emotions? Every human being has them, and you're shaming someone for feeling emotions? Okay. Kids with ADHD, and I very much remember that. A lot of the times I would be yelled at. I would be yelled because I was either disrupting the class, or because I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do, or because I didn't understand what I was supposed to be doing and everyone else did. I would be yelled at because I'm different, because I learn differently, okay? It is not I'm different, I'm blue. It's not that. I learn differently, okay? Does it mean I'm incapable of learning? No, it means that I'm unique. So, and I very much remember when my parents and the principal, my teachers, oh my God, I will never forget this when I was on first grade and my professor was yelling at me. I don't really remember what reason it was, but then I started giving out excuses. Okay, kids do that, but I think kids with ADHD might do it even more. And she said, Thais, you need to understand that the world doesn't round only around you. And you have to stop using excuses and just be more responsible for your own behavior. And I was just like, well, first of all, I was a kid. I was in first grade. Come on, let's give that kid a break. Second, when I was always being blamed and I was always being yelled at just because people didn't understand me, obviously that was the mechanism that I used to protect myself and my feelings from getting hurt. What do you expect kids to do? Like, if you blame them every single day for something that they're doing because they can't control it or something, do you expect them to be like, oh, I'm sorry, and just cry in the corner every single day? No, it's healthy to do what they did. They're standing up for themselves and they're trying to fight that emotion of guilt. So yeah, even though I did that, I still have a lot of guilt and I still have a very hard time with myself sometimes. Like, it's never good enough because that's what I grew up hearing, that I'm not good enough and I'm different. And because I have ADHD, I'm incapable of learning and I'm incapable of succeeding. And all my friends get A's and I keep failing. Why? It's just the fact that I literally learned differently. I started to finally improve in my academic life in my junior year of high school. My junior year of high school, I moved out of my parents' house. I moved out of my country by myself. And I came to the United States and I went to Arizona. My English was absolutely awful, but it was me. It was just me. And I remember leaving I was a foreign exchange student. My mom wanted to send me to United States so I could learn English because I couldn't do anything. And I felt like at that point in my life, my mom kind of gave up on me and felt like I would never succeed and I would never be like my brother. Because again, people that have ADHD, I always being compared to other people that don't. I don't think that's fair. Like, why should you compare me to someone who doesn't have the same uniqueness that I do? Obviously, it's not going to match, right? And so I came to United States, and I was a junior in high school, and I started succeeding. And I was like, that's weird. When I left my country, my grandma told me, oh, you're going to fail. I think you're not going to finish your whole year of your exchange program. She literally told me that. And that's something normal because I heard that my whole life. And so I wanted to prove her she was wrong. And I wanted to do that not only for my family, but also for myself. I was like, I need to prove them, but I also need to prove myself I'm capable. Oh my God, I thrived so much away from my family. And I was kind of confused even. I was like, well, shouldn't my family be helping me to succeed? And again, I absolutely love my family, but they never understood me and they still don't. She won't understand because she doesn't have it. So it's hard to understand. So like, if your kid has it, if you're a professional, if your spouse has it, you won't understand. So just put that in your head. You won't understand. Knowing that, it will allow you to be more open-minded about what they say. Because my whole life, people thought they knew how I felt. And every time that I said something, they would say, exactly what I just read on the book, that oh, you're using excuses because you think you're better than others and you need to prove that. No, I'm using excuses because I want you to understand me. Maybe they're not excuses. Maybe they're just an explanation of how I see the situation, because I do see the world differently. And that's a great thing about people with ADHD. They're so unique in the way they see things and the way they live and the way they talk. And there are like some things that, like you put a picture and majority of people would see this aspect of the picture. I would see a completely different aspect. And how beneficial is that in pretty much so many professions? Like, you need two opinions. You need to make sure you're not missing anything. And if you have someone with ADHD that can see, that can have a different perspective, that can absolutely improve your business, their career, because they see something that others don't. And so you're going to be using both perspectives. And always, like, I love seeing people's different perspectives because I feel like that would improve my understanding of something. So I mean, that is just like one thing that I think people with ADHD are really good at. And it hurts my heart to see how many people still blame their ADHD for so much that they go through. And I mean, I don't think they're wrong, but what I just think is they haven't been able to see the other side because they haven't been given that opportunity yet. But I think people with ADHD can do everything, they just do it differently.